Hi, Tim here. I hope you're well. I'm just going to give you a quick introduction as to what I've been doing with using local large language models. That's where I've downloaded a model to my computer locally and running it locally, and I'm going to use it as a source for generating my items in AI Assessment Author, the little authoring tool that I've built. Now, I'm kind of showing this as a kind of concept of vibe coding, how quickly it is to build tools, but also just the ideas that you could test out and how you could work things going forward. So this is all been built, this AI authoring tool been built with Lovable. You can try it there. I'm going to go into my dashboard, and these are a series of projects that I've created for AI authoring projects. This is my use of AI and assessments project. And you've got within here items that have been generated over different iterations. So I'm going to go into my generate items, and here I've got the choice of models that I want to use. I've got Lovable Flash based model, which is kind of comes with the Lovable service, so it's 2.5 Flash. But what I've also done is configure into this access to my Open Router service. So you've got a choice of a whole host of different models that go through there. And the Open Router one effectively means that it's slightly easier for you to have make use of lots of different large language models via the APIs, because you're only having one access, one service, one account with Open Router, and you basically say, go off and do this task, but use Gemini 2.5, or go off and use Llama 4 that's on there. But then the idea of this local one is that you can download a model, run it locally in there. And what you need to do if you do that is you just need to do some configuration on it. So we'll come back to this in a second, but what you need to do is install jan.ai. So there's a Windows application that's available on there. You need to then download from Hugging Face a model to choose from. Now, obviously, your computer that you're running will have some limitations in which models it'll be able to work. If you're working on a kind of standard PC, I'm working on a relatively okay PC, but it's not a high-end spec. It's not got a large graphics card. I think it's got even a separate graphics card. So I kind of have to use very small models as part of my process, but I'm just kind of demonstrating that principle. I'm not doing this full production. So you download a model, and you can go to chat, and you can chat with that model. So we've got Minstrel 1 running here. I'm going to say hi. That's what I ever seem to do in Jan. So say hi, and that's going to kind of kick in. It'll give you an idea. It's hello, it's responding back, so the model is working. Now, obviously, if you work in ChatGPT, it'd be kind of instant. It'd be hitting you, talking. But because it's running locally, it is a little bit slower, and you do find that if you're generating items. So yeah, there is an opportunity to where you generate some items and go off, make a cup of tea, etc., and come back. We'll see the difference in a second. In the settings area, you want to go to settings, and you want to go to local API services. You're going to need to start your service. And what I do find is when you start your service, go to the chat again and just have a quick chat with it, make sure it's all working fine. Port stuff shouldn't need to change. You'll need to put in an API key in there. I'm not going to show you that, but not because it's a super secret one and it's running locally. It doesn't matter too much, and I can change it quite quickly. But it's just best practice not to show API keys, because people can piggyback your services if not. Yeah, that's all I need to do. It's all running, started. I'm going to go into check my configuration. So I've got the URLs in it. You can copy that if you want and chuck that in. It should work fine. You do need to know the model name. So if you go back to Jan AI and go to the chat, click on that there, and you'll be able to just copy and paste that name, so you know exactly which model is up and running. You get the exact name that goes in there, paste it in, put your API key in exactly as you have done into the server settings on Gen AI, and then test and save that configuration. And then when you come to generate your items, you can then click on select the model that you want to use, and on this one, your local model should be visible and working. So I'm going to show you quickly the difference between it. So I'm going to click generate with this is 2.5 Lovable Flash version. So this is basically API into Google Gemini Flash. And I'm going to generate items, and we'll see how quickly it does that. I was going to count, but I probably can't cut that long. There we go. It's generated already. So it's about 15, maybe even 10 seconds maybe. We've got a load of items that have been generated there, and you can see the model that's been used on it. If I go to generate items now with my Minstrel model that's running locally, probably just disappear off now and have a quick cup of tea, but it's going to take just a little bit longer to do it. Now, I'm just going to talk you through a couple of other things while it's doing that. You've got temperature controls in here. There's been some research that's been done and some investigation that found that by changing the temperature controls, temperature controls anyway control the creativity, I suppose, in the large language model. So it changes the output. So if you do generate something with a lower temperature model, then you're going to get a different output than if you do it at a higher temperature model. One of the kind of thinking is that by using the temperature model, you're able to almost deflect the chances of someone being able to self-replicate items based on similar prompts that you might put in for creating items. So it's a kind of cheating method. But it also gives you a chance to say, okay, go off and create me 2 items which are super crazy creative and 2 items which are less so. And you can compare and contrast the items between this. So that's a very rough dummies guide to how that works. Within here as well, you can change the focus in there. So when you're actually generating items, you can say, focus on this particular piece. With this part of the project, you can attach information resources in there. So you're grounding the model and the way it works. Now you see it's taken a few moments to generate the items. You can also set difficulty in the project settings as well. In your project, you can, what else we've got? Oh, we've got some green features in there, which I'll show you in a second. So all these generations that have gone on, it will tell you how many tokens have gone in and gone out and give you an estimated output in terms of carbon footprint and water usage with the model. So that slightly more applies to the API-based services where they are actually using water-cooled CPUs and things like that in that process. But for this, if you're using local, then obviously you're not doing any of that. So, but it will give you kind of an indication of energy usage and consumption. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Is other things I've put in there. I'll find and replace on here. When you export the items as well, you can export them with at different stages in the journey, and in the export as well, it tells you the model that's been used and any percentage change from any interaction with humans. So if you generated items in here, then you've made some human interaction changes. It tells you what percentage differences in there as well. And I've also put in things like the workflow tasks, being able to kind of generate a task and give that to people to do as well. So there's my fill there for a few moments whilst those items are generated. But you can see that it's generated items. I'm not going through the scrutiny to see how good those items are and how they compare, but it's just an interesting way of being able to then use a local model if you want a more private option in your item creation. So that's it from me. Thank you, and hope you found that interesting.